Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our next guest joining us here today, Gail Reams. Yeah, she's the CEO and founder of Reams College Consulting, based out of Vero Beach, Florida, but helping people all over. So again, Reams collegeconsulting.com. Go to the website that's spelled REAMS collegeconsulting.com. First and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, thank you. I am fine and excited to be with you, Jill.
Well, we are excited to have you here. And let's just point out, you founded Reams College Consulting, you said 11 years ago with your friend. Could you share a little bit about this story?
Well, actually, it wasn't with my friend. What happened was I've got a good friend, Pam Proctor, who is an expert in this field. In fact, she wrote a
She's an
book, The
author, right?
College Book, and that is filled with incredible advice. And so she mentored me and encouraged me to follow in her footsteps as an independent college consultant. She became totally inundated with requests from parents who wanted help for their
Wow.
children. And so she said, Gail, I'm going to take, the freshmen and the sophomores and hand the juniors and seniors over to you to help. So I was delighted to be able to find my niche.
Mm-hmm. And
And I knew how difficult it was to get accepted into a top college. I had had a SAT prep course, scored in the 99th percentile. So I knew that was the reason I got accepted at my alma mater, Duke University. But I became fascinated then with all the other variables that would determine if a student got accepted. And that would be the GPA, the grade point average, the SAT or the ACT scores, the
the
rigor of
AP
the
courses, right? I remember
AP
those.
courses. I was going to mention that the rigor of the coursework is critical, and whether they're taking IB or dual enrollment as well. And then, of course, in the last few decades, we've had something new added, which is the Common Application. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Jill,
No,
but
wait. I have little kids, 7 and 9. I know about Common Core, which is
well,
confusing to me. I can't even do my third grade's math sometimes now. Meanwhile, I've done Calc
oh my
too.
goodness. Well,
So what is
uh,
common application? I'm sorry, what does that really mean?
what that really means is you go on to commonapp.org and put in your name, email, and then you answer a series of questions. And these answers to the questions go to all the colleges. So it makes it easier for a student because back in the olden days, you had to send in your application to each individual college. Now you're allowed to put 20 colleges in the Common App
Wow.
um, to apply. And there's a lot to it, besides answering a few questions. Each college has their own questions
Mm-hmm.
for you to answer. And the top colleges have supplemental essays that you need to write, as well as your personal statement, a 650-word essay just talking about you that will go to all the colleges. And of course, you're familiar with how important the extracurricular activities are
Oh, yeah.
and the recommendations from the teachers and the counselors. And so there is so much involved in this process that parents just get overwhelmed with it. And that's where I come in as the counselor to be able to help the parents and the students.
Beautiful. So let's discuss a little of this game plan. I know you got to plot out what needs to be done, you say, right, to be strong in each of the above areas. So we're going to talk about specifics, obviously, here. I know you mentioned the course schedule, right? Because you have to include the English, the history, the math, the science. There's so much. But also, what is the role of an independent admissions counselor?
All right, my role is to help this student be able to get into the college of his choice and hopefully to be accepted by a number of different colleges so he can go around and visit and decide which one he really likes. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to send a questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
One will go to the parent, one will go to the student. They'll fill this out. Why is that important? Well, I want to get to know your child. What makes your child tick? What interest does your child have? Because this is what the colleges are interested in finding out. So the more I can learn about your child, the more I'm going to be able to help your child.
And by the way, is this all over the United States you work with people? So you don't have to be near your location, right? You do virtual
No,
work, which is
it's
great.
nice because I can do this virtually. In fact, even students that are here locally, about 99% of the time, I'm helping them virtually, which is great because they're sending me essays and they're saying, help, I need revisions on this essay, or I need to brainstorm with you and get some more ideas about how to answer this essay. So I'm there to help them.
Beautiful. And do counselors and tutors meet with students on weekends or at night, or what type of, how does that work?
Well, sure, absolutely,
Okay.
because these students are going to be busy with their schoolwork during the day. So I usually meet with them in the evenings or on weekends. And these meetings are absolutely critical. We have a Zoom call, the parents can be on if they want to. And so I'll talk with the student and the parents, and we'll set up goals for that week, which will be a series of tasks that they need to get done. For instance, one week they might be writing a rough draft of the personal essay. And then they'll send it to me to go over, and I'll give my comments. We'll talk some more about it on the next meeting. Then the next assignment might be to write their resume, which again we'll go over and continue to be able to finish all these tasks before the deadline. See, that's going to be critical because if they're applying for early decision, which is going to be October 1st, October
Mm-hmm.
15th, or November 1st, depending on the school, they'll need to get most of this done at least over the summer before their senior year.
Got it.
And I am happy to say that I have never had one student that hasn't been able to meet every single deadline.
Wow. Now, what age are they coming to you at? What is a good age?
Well, the good age is they've just finished eighth grade and they're ready
Okay.
to go into ninth grade
Okay. Good to know.
because, a lot of people say, oh, I'll just wait until, maybe the summer before the senior year. And so, obviously I can work with the student then, but how much more valuable it
Yeah.
is to get into this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know you can apply for scholarships when you're a freshman or a sophomore. And so you want to get in this field early. Those who have an excellent talent, for instance, they're going to apply to schools Division 1, 2, or 3. They're an athlete. You got to start this process really early in ninth grade for that. And so the earlier you can get in, the better. I've got a list of
Mm-hmm.
to-dos for every single year. And I've noticed the students that get started earlier have a much better chance of being accepted because we can help them build up their resume. For
Yeah.
instance, if they've got a talent, say in photography, there was a student that Pam was working with actually, who was a freshman and took a few pictures. And then the school newspaper found out about him. And so he got his pictures published in the school newspaper. And then a lot of the parents thought these pictures are so great, they contacted the local newspaper who picked them up, published them, and guess what happened, Jill? It went to the Associated Press.
Oh my goodness. That's huge.
Well, and so this kid started early. He had his own dark room, and by
Ah,
the time he was a senior, he had pictures all over the United States, and these colleges were drooling to be able to accept him in their college. So, yes, you want to start early.
Wow, thank you for that. And by the way, you're helping students, plan and to get registered for those AP courses. You offer prep for AP tests in May too, right? And then now let me ask you this. I read you help registering SAT and ACT, and you recommend taking them each 3 times to see which one you score better. You're allowed to do that? And how does it work? They take the best score? They don't penalize you for taking it more than once?
Oh, heavens, no,
Oh,
no.
good.
It gives you practice. Do you know that a lot of these students have anxiety? I had one student that got so nervous before this test, and she just bombed it time after time. And then finally, it was old hat by the time she took her test the third time, and she absolutely excelled in it. Plus, you can get prep during that time period, which I highly recommend
Yeah.
to improve your scores. And so, consequently, it's a good idea to take the test several times and not only to take, say, the SAT 3 times, but the ACT
Okay.
3 times because you may think you're going to do better on the SAT, but it turns out you actually do better on the ACT. Also, there's something called super score. What that means is, for instance, on the SAT, you can take your score from the verbal section that you took last year, and
Hmm.
then this year take the math score that turned out to be better, combine those two, and almost all the schools accept super scores for both the SAT and the ACT.
Wow. Let me ask you, is there an expiration on that? Like I'm 46. I have a master's degree, but I was thinking about going back to get a different degree. Do they make you redo it when you're older? Like the SATs? I
You'd
would be
have
so
you'd have to check on that. They might.
oh, oh yeah, that's too much pressure right there.
I know.
Get it done young. You're here urging the people and everyone out there the importance of education. My goodness, and getting a head
Absolutely.
start and getting that tutoring and that help you need. Well, this is great. You also help people plan out their extracurricular activities, right? And like you mentioned, the importance of doing extracurricular activities. And you also have a lot of videos. You explain all this to people, right? So there's like a catalog you get to when you start working with you.
Absolutely. I did 5 hours of videos because I think it's important that parents and students understand what's involved in this admissions process. And they want to be sure they cover all their bases. They don't want to take any chances missing out on something. So consequently, we have these sorry about that. We
That's okay.
have we have people that want to be able to get everything done, and so
Mm-hmm.
that is our goal.
Got it.
Um, yeah, and this way, the parents and the students know everything that is required to do, and they can get it done.
All right. Well, also, let me just remind everyone how we can contact you, please. Since we're halfway through, a little more than that, reamscollegeconsulting.com. Is that the best way to get you, Gail?
It is actually, and I'd like to make an offer today to people.
Sure.
I've mentioned, to Jill that I made this series of 5 training videos covering all the aspects of the college admissions process. And if you were to go and pay for this series, since I charge $100 an hour, it would be $500 for the course. Um, Jill mentioned earlier the game plan. It's essential that you have a game plan. And so, number one, I'm going to send you a copy of this game plan video for free. If you hop on my
Wow.
website today before midnight, that's bonus number one. Bonus number two is a document that will tell you how to get a scholarship for your child.
Wow.
So if you're thinking about, well, I've got to pay Gail to help me, then this can be offset by getting a scholarship for your child.
Sure
And
can.
then bonus number three, and I know you're going to be excited about this because I've never done this before, Jill, but I want to do this for you. I'm going to give free 1 hour of my time, which is valued at $100.
Wow.
So during that time, then I'll talk with your child. I'll find out what his or her interests are, what the major's going to be, some of the colleges that you're considering, and what I can do to help him or her with valuable advice on how to get started. So basically, Jill, this is a no-brainer.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that.
Well,
ReamsCollegeConsulting.com. Reach out for all these before midnight tonight. Wow. An hour free of your time, the video. And speaking of videos, I have to also point out when you go to the website, watch some of the testimonials on here. People and parents and children talking about the work you've done. And so I commend you on that. There's great testimonials, which speaks volumes for the work you're doing. And excited to have you here. Again, she'll talk to you as the parent and the student and get to know you and get a plan. Get this. I have a 7 and 9 year old now, and I'm worried about this. I got to get going. And I know people are starting earlier and earlier. She said eighth grade is good. Why not seventh or sixth? The earlier, the better to get started. You try to instill it in your kids, the importance of education, the importance of doing homework, the importance of attendance, but their brains don't wrap around it yet. So the more people are in their lives around them, you surround them with someone like yourself, Gail, it's a win-win situation. So thank you for this. So again, you have all these videos for us, and have that college list. Maybe you also know the colleges. So say like my son says, "Hey, I'm interested in becoming an engineer." You know all the colleges. I'm assuming
I
you
know all the colleges that specialize in engineering.
see. I might want to get a degree in nursing now that I'm older, and I'm like, I can call you.
Absolutely. There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, this is amazing. Now, some people may be totally clueless, right? And not know what they want to do, but that's where you come in as well, right? You get to know that person, and I'm sure you figure it
I
out, right?
do
Pretty quickly.
indeed. Yes, absolutely. And, one of the first things I'll do for that person is give them a quiz. And the parent and the child will sit there together and answer questions. Do you want to go to a college geographically that's close to you? Do you prefer the Southeast or the West? Some students are applying just to Texas schools or just to California schools. So, that's important to have that, knowledge and to start sorting through, even for people that haven't started at all or thought about this process. I can help them know what they need to do first and continue along the process.
Wow, beautiful. I mean, we have a lot to cover. I hope we're going to have more shows, are we?
Yes, we are indeed.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm worried. I'm like, there's too much information here. We can't get it all
I
out today.
know, we're just
Um,
starting to
but
scratch the
but
surface here.
yes, well, in our last few minutes together, what else do you think is important for us to acknowledge today, right now?
Well, I just want everybody to be sure and hop on, like Jill said, REAMS, reamscollegeconsulting.com, and fill out your information. That's going to be the key. Get that information to me before midnight tonight, and you will get these three bonuses, and we can get started working together. I love students. I have 4 children of my own. And for years and years, I've helped students with tutoring and SAT, ACT prep, as well as this college admissions process. So I want to help your child to get into the very best college for him or her.
Well, clearly, let me just ask you about your background. Who helped you when you went through this process? Did anyone? What made you get into this? Made you become the Gail Reams helping everyone get into school? Could you just share that with us a little bit about your background? I think it's
Well,
always important.
everybody has a mentor. My mentor in
Yeah.
high school was Dorothy Warwick, who was my debate coach. She was my
Ah,
inspiration. So I got into debating my sophomore year and continued through my senior year when my partner and I were runners up for the state of Missouri in the debate contest. And so I love the fact that I could excel in an area. And that's what I want to advise these kids. They sometimes they feel like, you were talking earlier about extracurricular exercise. I got to put 20 different activities down. No, no, no. That's not what the colleges want. They want you to pick out 2 or 3 different activities that you can excel in, whether it be debate or the school newspaper. Or one thing they love is if you found a club. If you have an interest and your school doesn't have a club in that area, think about founding that club. So it depends on the student, really, what we're going to be able to emphasize in that personal essay and in answers to the questions. But we can work together, we can find that out, we can make that personal essay stand out so the colleges take notice.
Beautiful. We love to hear this. And how many years have you been in business for now doing this, Gail?
For the last 11 years, I've been a college admissions consultant, and I've found my niche, as like I mentioned. I love doing this.
Clearly. Ah, this is beautiful. You're helping so many people with your program. And I could imagine. I mean, you got to read and see some of the testimonials about what people are saying. Let me ask you, how often are you meeting with the child once you get started? Like, is it a weekly meeting
Yeah,
or?
good question. If we start early, then we only have to meet once a month during the first couple of years, freshman, sophomore years. By junior year, toward the end, we're going to start meeting once a week. So once a week through the summer and fall of the senior year. And this gives students a deadline. Have you ever known any kids that wanted to procrastinate? Oh my
Guilty, yep.
gosh. But if they know, Jill, they have to do these tasks and they know, and on Sunday at 1 o'clock that they're going to have a conference with me and report to me. And I'm going to say, did you get that essay written? Did you get your resume done, or whatever their task was?
Yep.
Then they're going to work on it and they're going to get it done. That's why I've had such great results in getting students to complete everything that they need to on
Wow.
time.
It's like you have that magic whip. Because the parents, that some kids don't respect their parents, and there's an accountability factor with you, Gail,
Absolutely.
and that's different, and that's what we need in our society today. Like when my kids get a little older, I'm going to have them reach out to you. Like I said, 7 and 9. So
Good.
we're talking about colleges now, what they want to do, but they're a little young. But soon I'm going to have to whip them into shape and call you.
I will look forward to that.
No, thank you so much. It's a pleasure getting to know you and the work you do. Would you mind sharing again how we can reach out to you?
All right, be sure and go to www.reamscollegeconsulting.com and fill out that form, get it in by midnight tonight, and you will get your 3 bonuses. You will get the game plan video, you'll get the document about scholarships, and you will have a chance to get 1 hour consultation with me for free.
Well, thank you. I cannot believe this. Again, by midnight tonight, we got to log on, right?
That's it.
Yay! All right.
Yay.
It's a pleasure getting to know you and looking forward to the next time we get to connect. There's so much to talk about. So there's plenty of content, wow, the next few weeks. And I want to hear some of the personal testimonials too, okay?
Okay, we can do that.
Thanks so much, Gail. You have a great day. And to all of our listeners, please stay tuned. Don't forget to take advantage of that deal. Go to the website before midnight tonight. Gail Reams, founder and CEO of Reams College Consulting. Go to reamscollegeconsulting.com. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Get the word out now. Thank you so much. Have a great day, Gail. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Jill.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.